Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Sinners, 2025, Ryan Coogler. This film follows a pair of bootlegging hustlers known as the Smokestack Twins. When these twins, named Smoke and Stack, return home to Mississippi, they buy a plot of land in order to run a nightclub, assembling old friends and business partners for a raucous opening night featuring the musical stylings of one preacher boy Sammy. Their grand debut is ruined by one tiny problem: vampires. When a group of these bloodsuckers start picking off the party, including killing Stack, Smoke and the remaining survivors must stop these monsters before they too become mincemeat. The buzz and hype surrounding this film was loud enough that I couldn't ignore it, and it was a must that I check this film out. While it isn't exactly the marvelous masterpiece people are making it out to be, I still can't help but be incredibly impressed with this creative creature feature. Visually, Coogler is a director that has always impressed me. Even in his weaker films like both Black Panther movies, there's a review for Black Panther 2 on the channel, he always manages to impress with his framing and his blocking. These are incredibly scenic and picturesque shots, some with really wild lighting. There was one early in the movie, a scene where Sammy was talking to his uncle, and I don't know what it was about the lighting in that room, but it looked like the shots with the uncle were in black and white. It stood out a ton. Coogler also constructed these intricate long takes that really shows how talented of a director he is. Starting with a simple oneer of the Chinese shop lady's kid going to get her mom, the camera never leaves her while she crosses this bustling town street, and then never leaves the mom when she heads to the husband's side of the street. Then, of course, there's the wild long take of Sammy playing in the club, while the history of African American music plays out in front of him. Incredibly well constructed regardless of computer effects or editing trickery, it is a memorable piece of imagery that played into the setting and world of the film brilliantly. Which brings me to the audio in this film. Music plays a major role in this film, as it obviously should. The score by Ludwig Göransson is probably some of his most inspired work and fit the world perfectly. For the majority of the film, we get this down and dirty country blues music, twangy guitars, stomping feet that envelop you in the old South. There's one scene where the stomps are in sync with someone getting the shit kicked out of them, giving the scene a rhythmic feel. The piece during that history of music sequence genre blends so fluidly, going from the blues to 60s hard rock, then hip-hop, all without sounding tacky. And then, especially near the end, Göransson will just bust out into straight-up heavy metal. Driving guitars, massive keyboards, it turns into this garish and over-the-top spectacle, perfectly in line with the violence and action on screen. At a budget of in and around 100 milli, Coogler had plenty of resources to throw around. While not as impressive as, say, a Denis Villeneuve film or an incredible showcase of resource management, nothing in the film looked egregiously bad. They had a couple town sets full of extras that was well coordinated and dolled up. The warehouse they shot in was the perfect bottle setting for the second and third act, and Coogler used the location and its surrounding area excellently. While the film is full of computer effects, Coogler and crew blend them well with practical makeup. The gore in this film is perfect for an action-y sort of film like this, with these vampires just tearing into people, and the wounds looking decently realistic. The vampires themselves are fun-looking monsters, and their design worked well with the tone. The big jagged teeth, those weird glowing eyes made them look like the sort of monsters that you would be mowing down in some sort of survival horror game. Now to discuss the writing. Is this script a profound experience? Not particularly. In many ways, it's your typical horror film with action elements to it. Does the script have pacing issues? A little. I think Coogler could have shaved 5 to 10 off the top and it would have been a better experience for it. Despite that though, I respect Coogler for at least putting a little stank on the premise and giving it his own spin. As I mentioned, the film centers itself on music. It presents Preacher Boy Sammy as this otherworldly muse, having been given the gift to play the sort of guitar that will permanently fry this sort of face on you. While his Christian uncle views the blues as the devil's work, the Smokestack twins see dollar signs in him. But the downside to Sammy is that his beautiful gift attracted the wrong crowd. Not only does the actual venue attract evil in the form of the KKK, whom Smoke and Stack bought the building from, but this group of traveling vampires as well, playing their folksy Irish music. The vampires wanted that power from Sammy, the songs within Sammy's mind, even though they couldn't get it in the end. Not wanting to give up this magic, Sammy runs away from Mississippi. He becomes a famous blues artist and continues a tradition, living through that burning evolution of music, but still reveling in his roots. Reaching the end of his life, he encounters Stack, now a vampire who has lived a long life of his own. An uneasy truce between them, the final moments of the film see Sammy playing that old guitar Stack gave him, now rebuilt, and reminiscing about that one magical day before the sun came down. Our great cast is fronted by Michael B. Jordan, as well as the debuting Michael A. Jordan. That's dumb. I jest, obviously. Michael B. Jordan did a dual role. Playing both Smoke and Stack, not only does Coogler present and edit this brilliantly, Michael plays off himself really well. He brings distinct personalities to the twins, with Smoke being the no-nonsense gangster, while Stack is the fun-loving mischief maker. I guess you could call it that. I don't fucking know. Debuting is the young Miles Canton as Preacher Boy Sammy. A singer in his own right, Sammy has a brilliant set of pipes on him, nailing that Southern blues sound. But his acting chops are no slouch either, showing tons of charm as well as abject fear near the end. Haley Steinfeld plays Mary, who starts out as a scorned lover, a charming Southern belle, which Steinfeld portrays excellently, but she turns into a villainous vampire, which she also portrays brilliantly. The main villainous vampire is portrayed by Jack O'Connell, and he cuts a decent presence in this film. He's charming, but he can become intimidating at the drop of a dime. With an excellent supporting cast as well, such as Delroy Lindo, who was great in this film, Omar Benson Miller, Wunmi Mosaku, Jamie Lawson, and so on, Coogler assembled a bevy of talented artists of color to bring this world and story to life excellently. So, while this film isn't perfect, Sinners is the sort of filmmaking I want to see more of. It's a tried and true setup, but Coogler presents it through a very interesting lens. Framing it around the Old South and its rich history of music, the score by Göransson and Miles Canton's debut performance are highlights for sure in this regard. But let us not forget Michael B. Jordan's fantastic performance or Coogler's love of film and his passion as a director. Remember, if you want to see more movies like this, do yourself a favor and go to a theater to enjoy it. It's a hell of a ride, and it's the sort of stuff Coogler should be doing on the reg. Recommended. And I am feeling an 8 out of 10 on this one. Maybe that's a little generous, maybe, but this is fun. It was fun and it was different. We need more of that. Catch you later, guys.